dog in the street.
What up, everyone? Welcome into Twin Cities Sports Talk. You got Trevor and Bruce here today. Talked about some Vikings football. A little bit of news kind of everywhere around. But yeah, it's going to be a busy week for us either way. NHL trade deadline coming up. We got action from the Wolves, from the Wild now, Twin spring training. We'll probably have a few episodes about what we've seen there. Maybe some Joe Ryan news. Bailey Ober hasn't had a start or an appearance yet. I'm pretty sure Bailey Ober is just a mechanics thing. They're tuning that up. But there's no injury there. So I guess it's good.
That we know of.
Yeah, good news for now. But today we're talking extensively about Vikings football, and then we're going to make some predictions about two big games. Wild play the Blues at 4. And in 30 minutes from when we're recording right now, the Wolves play the Nuggets in Denver. But before that, we have to get to our ad read of the day. Not Kitchen-Wise. Athlete's Edge with Jen Prouty. She's a mental performance consultant based in Brookings, South Dakota, who works with the competitive and elite athletes across a variety of sports. Jen helps strengthen the mental side of performance by developing skills like confidence, focus, and emotional control in the sport you play. She works with athletes, teams, and coaches both locally and nationwide through the virtual consulting. And what they focus on there is the long-term development. They focus on the future, people. So if you're in sports and you need help with any of that stuff we just talked about, there's her phone number right there, athletesedgepc.com. Go visit the website. Tell them Twin City Sports Talk sent you while you're at it. Thank you, Jen, for sponsoring. Now, to get to kind of the big news, everything that's circulating right now. Do the Vikings want JJ McCarthy gone? Okay, so apparently from Tony Pauline, who I did more research, is just the Pro Football Network source, not a Vikings source, but Pro Football Network source. Apparently, he says they are quietly exploring an exit strategy for JJ McCarthy. A source tells me the team is really down on quarterback JJ McCarthy and is ready to move on from their 2024 first-round pick. The team will bring in another signal caller to compete and eventually replace McCarthy, who was the 10th selection of the 2024 draft. And if we remember back, yeah, we traded up for JJ, gave up other considerations. And so this would be a very big deal. And, I mean, he's played in 10 games. The injuries are an issue, which we've talked about a lot on the show, but he's played 10 games. So, Trevor, immediate reaction to that? I know it's kind of the same as mine, but
One, I don't know if I really believe it, considering it's a guy outside of Minnesota. Now, if it is true, and we're going to go down that route, which I can get it to an extent, Jordan Love sat the Cup 3, right? It was 3 seasons before he played when they got rid of Rodgers. So if they want to go after a guy named Kirk O'Chains, it wouldn't shock me if they just maybe not promise Kirk the starting position, but if they say it's yours to lose. Yeah. And then they take that pressure off McCarthy where he can kind of take a redshirt year. Mm-hmm. That would kind of burn up his third year. So whether it's Kirk or whichever quarterback you'd bring in, Jimmy Garoppolo or name whoever, I do think it won't shock me if they go into training camp in preseason with McCarthy as the 2, and then whoever that replacement veteran quarterback is would be the 1.
Yeah, I'll learn a little bit.
Was a short leash though, so if the offense isn't moving, if it's flat, if turnovers are a problem, then he can quickly go back to McCarthy. Now, would you and I do that? Yeah. Or at least for me, probably not. I think I just want to give him the games. Because even if you get a Kirk Cousins or a Jimmy Garoppolo or, like I said, name whoever, kind of besides the point. Are we a Super Bowl worthy team? You can argue it with Flores and the support cast. Mm-hmm. But are we going to be picked as a favorite? You can argue that. Main thing I'd rather just roll with McCarthy. But totally bring in a veteran. because rolling with Rosemary, even when you had Wentz, before Wentz, went down with injuries, it would be nice if you could have a little bit more of a just more qualified.
Well, more
not that
reliable
Wentz
guy.
wasn't,
Yeah.
but yeah, a guy for how young McCarthy is and was. The for this past year that just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm
either way, real quick, just because you brought up Wentz, reporting from Adam Schefter is reporting that Wentz is expected to be back with Minnesota next year. From Adam Schefter. So despite the Minnesota, despite this, Minnesota is also expected to add another QB. So what you just said, that Wentz wasn't that like qualified, like he is in some aspects, but he's not the most reliable guy you could have had.
No, I guess I should clarify. I guess that kind of caught me off guard, but after rethinking it, for the couple seconds, if he's going to be the third string, by all means, with his experience and knowledge, he's a well-liked locker room guy, well-respected. Yeah, if he wants to be the third string. Now, the only risk with that, and I think you should be okay, I really wouldn't be worried. And worst case, even if you lose him, is if Wentz would be the 3 and make Brosmer your practice squad quarterback, if he even makes the team, which I'd probably put it 50-50 because we'll see who we bring in. But then there's the chance that Brosmer could get signed as a free agent elsewhere. I don't think that happened, because if a team's going to do that, then they're going to need to keep Brosmer on the active roster. But if Wentz wants to be the 3, I guess by all means, just having that experience in another veteran to pair with replacement veteran McCarthy,
I wouldn't be upset with that at all.
Yeah. If it's for the minimum, there's nothing to lose. Because one, you got to pray and hope that it doesn't get to the point where Wentz has to play. And if it does, this season's probably already shot, because you're down replacement quarterback and you're down McCarthy.
Very true.
But yeah, I mean, just the knowledge, well-liked locker room guy with Wentz. I guess I'd be for that. I guess that makes a little bit of sense. My only thing is, why would feel like I guess Wentz is kind of unofficially, quote unquote, hometown. I just feel like he would want to see what he's worth, what interest is, and I'm sure
I don't think there's any interest. I honestly obviously it could be different with him and his team and stuff, but there's just so many viable options out there for backup, and then people can go into the draft and stuff too. Like Wentz is so far down the list. I think,
and I guess
it's either sign with the Vikings or retirement. I really think it is for him.
No, that's true, because he was a free agent, I guess, when we did pick him up.
Yeah, and that was kind of, at the time, it was kind of his last ditch effort, or might be his last go at it. And now, being injured with it was the shoulder, right? I think it was the shoulder. Like, that's nothing too easy. So it's either sign again with the Vikings or retire. But this is also dependent on, so what is circulating a lot through the media when the Vikings, when they are kind of talking, when all the reports from Schefter are saying you're going to go get another guy along with Wentz. It's not confirmed Wentz is, but that's what Adam Schefter, probably the most reliable name out there, is saying. So you can bet Carson Wentz will be on the team next year. But what the media is saying right now and what things are pointing to, if you are adding another guy, this would include JJ McCarthy might even be in a deal to acquire a different quarterback or be thrown in. That's what people are pushing, that narrative, which is what I'm saying here. Max Brosmer would be the 3rd going into next year. Wentz would be the backup to if they really went all in for it, Kyler Murray or a Tua, or like any of these guys that have had their names out there. But in order for that to be, I don't think you're going to have Wentz as your 3rd starter if JJ's on the roster still. I think JJ would end up being traded if that was the case, in my opinion. But my thought with this is, the big thing with the Vikings team is you have Brian Flores for next year. And just like we've said the past 2 years now, this will probably be the last year with him. I mean, I mean, yeah, like I just said, we've said this for the past 2 years, but in all honesty, like he keeps proving himself year in year every year with the defense, and his defenses are only getting better, to be honest. So you can really bet that this will be his last year. So if the Vikings seriously don't have any trust in JJ to go out there and throw simple routes across the middle of the field, these deep crossing concepts, which KOC loves, and that's basically his entire offense. If they don't trust him to do that, I would be completely fine. Honestly, like this is going to shock you, I know, and it's going to shock a lot of people that have listened to this podcast for a little bit, because I've been a huge JJ fan and I've been a big supporter, and I still am. But if the Vikings could get a Kyler Murray deal done, which there's ripples to this, because part of me says, well, Kyler Murray, very mobile quarterback, he doesn't fit the KOC scheme. He doesn't fit the mold for this, but Kyler Murray has consistently his entire career been a top 5 passer in the league for over the middle throws at each margin. Short meaning like 10 yards or less, intermediate 10 to 20, and then deep 20 plus. He's been top 5 almost every single year in completion percentage down the middle. He's really good at it. He's not really great at the boundary throws, but this is KOC's whole offense. People, I urge you, go to NFL Plus, go to the All 22, because I'm subscribed to it. JJ missed a lot of open guys in the middle of the field. Like when he threw in the middle of the field this year, he was very bad. That's why they had to simplify the offense. But the other thing too, that KOC, and this is where I think the trust is really deteriorated, is because JJ's just missing these guys in the middle of the field. If you go there, many different deep crossing routes, and here's the problem with these play calls, is that the offensive line was a bit shaky, and it was tough for JJ to stay in the pocket and deliver these throws, because these routes are very long developing. It's KOC's bread and butter. These long, like little hitch routes into a deep post/crosser route that's 25 yards downfield. It takes a couple seconds. The quarterback needs to, one, take a hit like Kirk Cousins would always do for Kevin O'Connell in the offense, or you need to be able to step up in the pocket or exit the pocket and still be looking in the middle of the field, not as much on the boundary, because that's just not how KOC revolves. But Kyler Murray's good at that. He's great at stepping in the pocket and delivering down the middle of the field. And honestly, Kyler Murray, obviously the first overall draft pick in 18, I think it was 2018. It's kind of crazy. It seems like that wasn't that long ago, but it's already been 7 or 8 years of Kyler Murray in the NFL.
19 is the Darnold Baker, right?
No, that was 18. Kyler Murray was 19. You correct me there. Yeah. Darnold was 18. Either way, I would be fine with acquiring Kyler Murray if you gave up JJ, and like I don't know how much else you would need to give up, because they're going from. But the issue here is the money.
I don't mean to pause, and I'll let you continue. Yep. I don't even think you have to trade for Kyler, just because of how he's under contract, but he's owed a $20 million bonus, which if he's on the $20 million bonus is for the 2027 year, but if he's on the 2020, it's weird. Don't quote me on this, but I think my understanding is if he's on the roster for 2026, then he gets that $20 million bonus for next year, which $20 million is a lot, but then also you're talking about the quarterback position, so there's a lot to vary there. I think they like Brissett a lot, I do think Brissett, I'll say that. I think Brissett will be Arizona's quarterback. Also, due to the fact that I think Kyler wants out, just given how that situation went, he wants a fresh start. He's been on a rebuilding team for what's the math?
7 years now.
7 years. Yeah. And so I think he's open to the idea of just new team, fresh start, get out of Arizona. So I really don't think he has trade value. If Arizona is able to swing a trade, I don't think you're going to be able to get value of, even though McCarthy's still. Even though his value is low, I don't think because I don't think for the Vikings' sake, I don't think you have to give up McCarthy to get Kyler Murray, who already wants out. I think that would just be like a 5th-round pick or something, where Arizona at least gets something for him. But I don't think you're going to get the value of the potential of what McCarthy can be versus what he currently has shown.
Well, my idea with that too is I think I agree with Jacoby Brissett. I think will be their starter next year, and I think my idea with JJ being included on this deal is that if JJ was, I know, like you said, his value really isn't anything right now, but you wouldn't need to give up really any draft capital to acquire Kyler in this deal, no matter what. But have him sit behind Jacoby Brissett for a year, or maybe even come in, because the other thing is the Cardinals have a high draft pick this year, but the quarterback position is very weak in this draft. Very weak. I mean, Mendoza will go 1, but Ty Simpson maybe middle first round to late. It's not a deep draft at all, but next year's quarterback draft, way more deep. I mean, Arch Manning's going to be in that, a bunch of other guys. So the Cardinals could see if they could maybe get something out of JJ or develop him a little bit, stick with him, or they could stick with Jacoby Brissett for the whole year. They're not going to be a winning team no matter what, most likely next year. So they'll have a high draft pick, pretty likely, coming into next year's draft either way. They get rid of the Kyler contract and just kind of start fresh, which if the other thing about Kyler, I forget what year it was, maybe 2021, but when he has a good team around him, this is when he had D-Hop on the team and a good offensive line. They had a good defense with Budda Baker and the rest of the good corner matchups there. But they started out, what was it, like 8-0 in 2021?
I honestly don't remember. But
They
I
started out
remember
either
that
8-0 or 9-0 and eventually lost to the Packers, which ruined their undefeated season. Because I remember that game like it was yesterday, because Aaron Rodgers was down his top 3 wide receivers in that game. Devontae Adams, MVS, and either way, it was Aaron Rodgers' masterclass. But the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, when he has a reliable team, which if he got traded here, he'd have probably the best team he's been on in his career. Best defense, best offensive coach he's had, best everything. So it's a hypothetical. I'd be okay with it, but again, if it didn't happen, I'm gonna support JJ with all I got, because I've been doing it all off season, and I just think it could work out well. And I think if they really don't trust, because KOC, there's a lot on the all 22 that indicates kind of what you can imagine KOC is thinking right now with his talking, with his kind of these reports coming out. They want JJ out. He can't throw middle of the field. You got to read between the lines a little bit, and you got to be realistic at the same time. It's a very confusing situation, very weird situation going on. But I want to talk about the other big one that's going on for last month. Mac Jones. We haven't talked a ton about the Mac Jones possibility. Mac Jones had a very good 8 games, I think, with San Fran this year. Great system, great coaching over there. This is another one where now I think his value might be a little bit more than Kyler's, if you would agree with that.
100% it is, yeah.
Well, I guess with the money aspect too, he's nothing compared to Kyler's contract too. Yeah, I don't know. What would you have to give up to acquire Mac? I've seen some of the mock trades.
I don't think so. I really don't think there's I'm sure the Vikings will do due diligence and check in. I don't think Mac Jones really is a consideration for the Vikings. At least that's my thought process, just because he's not really considered as that. I don't know. I guess now I'm kind of circling back, because there's the similarities of the whole Darnold thing, right? Where you're considered a bust, but then you show some promise, except he showed the promise with San Fran. I don't know. I think the Vikings are so honed in on a veteran with experience, but a guy that's also cheap, right? Given our cap situation. So Now, your question to circle back was like, what would you have to give up if we are interested? Because I'm not the Vikings. I'm just some idiot on a podcast. I think it'd probably be like he's obviously not first round worthy, but he's not like a late pick. I want to say around third round value.
Because we have 2 third-round picks. I was gonna say a third-round pick would probably get it done. Yeah. Which, here's the thing: Max Jones is also very good at throwing in the middle of the field, and that's just something that I will say. Like coming out of college, JJ had the nickname dubbed to him of like the handoff merchant, being at Michigan with having the great running back tandems that they always had. He showed a lot in the passing game when he was out of the pocket, out of system a little bit. But a lot of that stuff was, again, out of system, on the run, on the boundaries. It's not really what if there was one guy, like this is how I thought back then when we drafted JJ, but Bo Nix, we could have drafted, and I'm not saying I want Bo Nix over JJ at all, but if you were looking straight at a guy who was going to carry out KOC's scheme in the sense of the over the middle passing, which we've talked about a lot, Bo Nix would have been the guy because he just wasn't as good at it in college. He never was. He was great out of system. He was a hockey player growing up. He's just an athlete in general. He can throw off any foot on like falling backwards, getting tackled. Like he can do all of that, but Bo Nix is he's just a gunslinger in the middle of the field. That's really what it is. And that's what he showed in a lot in the Broncos offense this year, but I don't know. I just it's not the guy that I thought Kevin would have been targeting in that draft. It's not, but going back to Mac Jones, Mac Jones is great at throwing over the middle of the field, just like Darnold was. Darnold is. Same with Kyler Murray. It's just I cannot in the right conscience say that I completely trust, because the only reason why I'm having these in-depth conversations and like really hounding on this and really actually realistically talking about it is because, again, you have Brian Flores and you have a top unit on defense. Kind of no matter who you trot out there, you're going to be good. You're going to win games because of the defense next year. It doesn't even matter who you have at the quarterback position.
It's funny, as we're speaking too, got distracted or whatever you want to call it. So literally as we're talking Vikings and quarterbacks, from the California Post are reporting that the Vikings are linked to Derek Carr. Now Derek Carr is still officially signed by the Saints.
No, he was retired.
Yeah, but he's
still
retired,
under contract.
But he's under contract, so it'd turn into a trade. Now I really haven't followed the whole Derek Carr thing, but I've seen enough. It sounds like you're mentioning to it, so it sounds like he is serious about returning.
Yep.
I just don't know if I see him coming to Minnesota, I guess. I think it's just the Vikings are going to be so desperate. You have Jefferson, the greatest receiver who has not really complained whatsoever, and he's put up numbers year in and year out with just a
complete dud of a quarterback lineup through the first 6 years.
I was going to say he's played through, or not through, with whatever the number is, however many quarterbacks he's played with. He's been through a lot. So you want a quarterback you can really trust and rely on, which is why I keep circling back to Kirk, because I think he'll sign for cheap. He knows the system. He balled out. Now there's going to be strong arguments that the injury that he suffered a couple years ago, and he's already shown some decline. So there is that, and that's fair.
But
I think a lot of people do truly forget how well he really was playing the year when he did rupture the Achilles in Green Bay.
He was going off.
He was balling out, and that was just 3 years ago. So Derek Carr is just interesting because he hasn't played. So obviously he didn't play this year. Is it 2 full years or just this past year? Because he played like the 2024 year, I think. I think it's
been the 1 year. Yeah.
So that really honestly is not terrible because you could just treat that as like someone that broke their leg, beginning of the year or whatever.
Yeah, real quick, circling back to Kirk, that 2023 year. I have the stats, and it is actually crazy because it was year 2 in KOC's system, had that off season, had everything going. Played in the 8 games, obviously the Packers game, stupid Lambeau Field. He had the 3rd highest completion percentage of his career at 69.5%. Through 8 games, 2,331 yards. 18 touchdowns and only 5 picks, a QB rating of 103.8 in 8 games. So if you want to do the math, people, he still had a half a season left to play.
So it could have been like 36-10.
Yeah, 36-10, around, 4,600 yards, 4,600, somewhere around there. Could have been good. But I don't know. Let's talk about Kirk for a second, because just like what you said, the injury, he hasn't looked the same with his mobility at all. The arm talent, I guess right away you could tell he wasn't stepping into his throws, but I haven't had that sense really at the end of the year last year with Atlanta in the last 6 games or however many he played. He's still throwing the ball fine and good, and he's accurate. But Justin Jefferson, for his sake, got off to the hottest start of any wide receiver in NFL history through his first 3/4 years. Why is that? Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kirk just dealt him the ball. And it's not like he was spamming it and throwing a lot of picks, because Kirk, he never threw a lot of picks. He wasn't that kind of a guy. He wasn't a Brett Favre type. But
played it safe, yeah.
Yeah, but he's going to get Justin the ball. And here's the thing. Kirk, when he came to the Vikings in 2018, had a really good defense. 2017's defense for the Vikings was the best in the league by far in every standard. 2018 was still really good, but Kirk, just not knowing the system, we still don't really know what happened, because you sign him to the first fully guaranteed contract in NFL history. You're like, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Didn't really happen. 2019, you make the playoffs. You beat the Saints. You're like, all right, that's a good step. But then after that, the defense, it starts to decline. 2020, that's when Mike Zimmer kind of started losing it a little bit, I could say.
Losing his mind.
Yeah, the secondary just got weak. It got old. I mean, Harry was always aging. Anderson Dejo was off the team in 2020. And then on the cornerbacks, like Xavier Rhodes is gone after 2019, I'm pretty sure. Trey Waynes was gone. It's all of these guys. And then the linebacker situation, you had, at that time, 2 aging guys in Kendricks and Anthony Barr. So it's like, and then the D-line, it wasn't getting any younger. In 2017, it was Everson Griffin. I know Daniel Hunter was there, but Tom Johnson was the defensive tackle at age 38.
He was old.
Yeah. And so the defense, what I'm trying to say here is Kirk from 2020 on, and the Vikings, Kirk never had a really reliable defense when KOC, Ed Donatel, that's the defense he had with KOC. But then 2023 could have been could have maybe won a playoff game with Brian Flores and Kirk, the way he was throwing the ball in 23. But if you brought Kirk back this year with Brian Flores being on the team now for 3 years, I would really love it. And I think that's still the most realistic option, which Trevor said. I would just simply love it. That would be fun to bring him back. It would be fun, people.
Yeah. And then one thing too is since he's been with Atlanta the 2 years he was with Atlanta, you've had Bijan Robinson and Algier. So Kirk. So I know Kirk, his first year Atlanta, he had the ballistic. It was a Thursday night game where he went absolutely bonkers
against the Bucks.
Yeah, against the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
But besides that game, I might be forgetting one or two. We're not Falcons fans. It's not like we're watching them on a daily basis or weekly basis, I guess technically. But my point being is they've just, he's been able to lean on the run, and so he really hasn't been asked to do much. But when he hasn't played, and I could even argue to an extent because of the games when I can't think of the number of games he played, but after Penix broke his leg, it almost felt like when Penix tore his ACL this year, when Kirk finished however many remaining games it was
like
for
9
Atlanta.
games. Yeah.
It almost seemed like at times, like when, not that I was watching the full game, but like watching through NFL Red Zone, it almost felt like they were too passive with him. And so
Yes. Oh yeah.
maybe his arm's falling off, or I don't know, whatever the case may be, or they're just too confident in the run, or they're overthinking it and playing it too safe. So there is that with how good their running game is, and
Yep.
obviously they have not had a good offensive coach since,
Or a
probably.
really reliable offensive line. Like it's just
Well, I think
there's
their
been a
O-line's
lot of things.
solid now, but I get what
Not
you're
like
saying, just in
top tier.
general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not.
Um,
Yeah, a little bit more on that. The Vikings, I mean, this is going away from Kirk, but the Vikings today just announced that at the start of the new league year, they will be releasing Aaron Jones and Javon Hargrave. So Hargrave, that saves 11 million from the books, and they're kind of following along Twin City Sports Talks blueprint episodes that we've been doing, cutting Jones, cutting Hargrave, probably more to come after that. Maybe not, because another thing that announced 2 days ago, the NFL salary cap is going $22 million up, so that now the Vikings right now currently would be at like, well, right now it hasn't really updated as much, but it's like $45 million under the cap. That's what we've been at for the past month and a half, 2 months. But with the salary cap going up, we'll be at about 23 million under the cap. And so Aaron Jones, that cuts off 11 million, and Hargrave cuts off 11. So just with those two cuts, you're almost even already right there. So good for the Vikings, cutting ties with those two. Like, and the big thing that I'm going to circle back to Kirk here is now the Vikings are saying they are going to get a running back in the draft or free agency. That's what they're saying right now. Jordan Mason is their third down back, the huge thunder thighs, and he's going to break tackles and be good on those short yardage situations. But he also broke a few big gains this year. He's like David Montgomery. But they are going to be in the talks for a Jadarian Price and Emmett Johnson in the draft. Or maybe we see them go make a splash with Breece Hall. I don't think Kenneth Walker's up for any discussion. I think he's going back to Seattle, but they could make a splash in free agency.
Yeah, for not to get carried away, but for like 30 seconds. If Seattle does not keep Kenneth Walker, whether it's a TIG or if you don't extend him, that dude literally not only won you a Super Bowl, but he won you like the entire playoff run. Yeah. That's not a knock on Darnold or anything. It's just they were that lethal with their running attack. So like, especially too when Charbonnet's gonna miss X amount of games, probably about the first half, give or take. So, I mean, unless he's absolutely being super unreasonable and just asking for way too much, but then I would just take him.
At that point, yeah, but like, how, like, by unreasonable, like Saquon Barkley gets paid like $12 million. Running backs do not get paid in the NFL at all. Like how much, like unreasonable. I think he's projected like 11. So I think the Seahawks will definitely be willing to pay that. Yeah.
But yeah.
What I thought you were going to say is if he does not resign, or if the Seahawks don't resign Kenneth Walker, you will see a huge decline in Sam Darnold's game, which that's what I was going to say either way. But I thought you were going to say that exact
there
thing.
is that too, but I don't think that will ever come to the light of day.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all. But yes, exactly. Either way, but with Aaron Jones here, circling all the way back to Kirk Cousins here, Kirk, just like you said, he had Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, a great running back tandem in Atlanta. And last year, in those like 9 games or 10 games that he played after Penix went down, he only averaged 172 pass yards per game. I don't know how many times he threw the ball per game, but it was also the lowest yards per attempt. So was it Arthur Smith who was guiding the Atlanta offense? I forget, because Raheem Morris, obviously the defensive coach, but
was with Pittsburgh, but Arthur Smith but he was there if you don't count this year, because I think Arthur Smith was first year with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but who was Atlanta's play caller?
Yeah, I think it was Arthur Smith, because he was their coach.
No, this year play caller for the offense.
This year Zach Robinson, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know a ton about Robinson at all, but like obviously just short yardage throws is what he kind of
Well,
just.
you and I don't know anything about Zach Robinson, but if you just take the construction of the team, you have two great running backs. I'm sure there's a
Mhm.
lot of Detroit's play style where you just play it safe,
Yeah.
or it's going to be run heavy, work the play action with that, and then on traditional passing plays,
Yeah.
target London or Pitts, and
Mhm.
then really a very sneaky, reliable for a third option, Darnell Mooney. Now
Mhm.
I do think Mooney was hurt, but I'm sure their offense was just literally, especially when it was Penix too,
Oh
that
yeah.
young quarterback. It was just run, and then short pass and play action. I'm sure that's pretty much
Mhm.
all it is.
Yeah. But with now the Vikings 100% saying we're going to target a running back this offseason, KOC run the ball and do not exactly what Atlanta did, because I think Kirk has a little bit left in the tank. I think if he came back to Minnesota, I think it's a last ditch. Let's go win a Super Bowl. We have Brian Flores. We have Justin Jefferson. We have most likely Jordan Addison going into the year. A good offensive line that's going to hopefully come in healthy this year and not have Christian Darrisaw stepping out of games in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was
It was super weird. But either way, the Vikings are going to get a running back. They're going to get a veteran quarterback. No matter if that's a Kyler Murray or a Kirk Cousins, get a running back like Jadarian Price or Emmett Johnson and just ride the run game. And then these veteran quarterbacks, the big stat here is that Kirk Cousins and all these veterans are good on third down. You know who isn't? From the stats, JJ McCarthy. He was the worst quarterback in the league last year on third down passing, completion wise, and like expected points added, all these stats, the worst on third down, no matter what. I mean, the Vikings had to have been pretty close to top of the league in punts last year, because third downs you just didn't convert them. It was very annoying.
no. Well, that's on McCarthy, as has
No,
been
it's not
discussed
all.
numerous times.
Yeah, but
But yeah,
it's
but
him
still, you
throwing the
need your
ball. So
quarterback. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and all of these guys are good on third. Not good, great, but they're all reliable on third down. So
Yeah.
all right, to end this discussion, what is the Vikings record, Trevor, with Kirk Cousins,
0-17. We're tanking
and
from
and
Arch.
Jadarian Price? They get Jadarian in the
Kirk
second
and
round of the
Price.
draft. Or I guess I just saw on the combine he pronounces his name Jadarian, not Jadarian. Jadarian Price, sorry.
Wait, so not to get distracted, have announcers just been calling him wrong then this entire time?
I don't know. I think so.
Anyways,
But, yeah.
so record wise,
And do we make the playoffs with Kirk Cousins starting the whole year? Like JJ is your quarterback too.
right? Yeah, hypothetical.
Yeah. And you have
So
that running
it's
back
the
tandem.
so AFC East, and then what's the other?
NFC South. It's the easiest you could get it. NFC South, Bucks, Panthers, Falcons, and I'm
I'm
blanking
gonna
on
go
the
like 9 and
Panthers.
9-8, or like 10-7.
Yeah, I was gonna say 10-7 or 11-6. That's my word on it. I think 11-6 is very well. I mean, to be completely honest, if you get good quarterback play, the Vikings should have gone 11-6 this year,
Mm-hmm.
or they should have gone 12-5, won
Well,
the
yeah,
division,
you
made the
should have
playoffs.
won against the Ravens for
Well, you
sure.
should have beat the Bears. It was the kickoff. You should have won the division.
Yeah,
To
that
be
too.
honest, you should
Yeah.
have.
So
If you
Ravens,
get
yeah,
good quarterback play, I think, and with a far, far easier schedule next year, I think the Vikings go 11-6 or 12-5 with
yeah.
a
I'm
running back
going.
tandem
I'll say
and Kirk.
9-8 or 10-7 for me.
Okay. All right. One other piece of Vikings news before we let you people go. It goes to the defensive side of the ball. The Giants are expected to release Bobby Okereke, who's been a veteran in the league for a while. Big name, really good player. He's a great rusher. He's a great run stopper, but he's also pretty good in zone coverage too, which the Vikings obviously don't play a lot of. But when we do, he can be reliable in that. he's not expected to cost a lot. This is creating $9 million in cap space for the Giants because they're a little bit cap hurting, I guess you could say right now, kind of like us. But they just want to shave off some money. So they're expected to cut Bobby. And with the Vikings, Blake Cashman is under contract for next year, but he is finding himself on the IR quite a bit. And Eric Wilson not on the team next year as of right now. Same with Ivan Pace. Or Ivan Pace is he a restricted?
He's a free agent.
He is.
2 years.
Yeah, he is. Sorry. Either way, you got one starting linebacker on your roster right now. I think the Vikings will probably do everything in their power to get Eric Wilson back in the building, but Bobby Okereke should be around $7 million. It would be an upgrade from Cashman or Wilson, in my opinion. So, what's your word on that? I just realistic chance.
Because I looked up his stats. I mean, he has played well, 3rd-round pick in 2019 from Stanford.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not familiar, but from skimming at his stats, I mean, seems like a solid linebacker. So if Flores likes him, I like him. If you can get him for a fair offer, linebacker, I'm very concerned about, just given the depth, because I pray Pace is gone. I cannot stand that loser. He's like another Addison. Just it's like Dumb and Dumber. But then Eric Wilson, I'm worried he'll be gone just because he deserves a payday, and I don't know if we'll be able to outbid X team that he agrees to a contract with. So then you're down to just Cashman and then question mark. So yeah, for sure, I'm all for it. Yeah, I'm sure plenty of other teams will be going for him too. So 100%. Given the cap and everything, it's going to be tricky.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree. As we're talking about that, I just want to pop up the linebacker free agency depth. We've already done this before, but I mean, we're on the topic, so I just think I should, because Eric Wilson obviously showed a lot this year. He was probably the team's defensive MVP. But if you go here, I mean, there's this linebacker depth is very deep at the linebacker position. Like you go down this list right here, it starts with Devin Lloyd, Demario Davis, Quincy Williams, Devin Bush, Quay Walker's a free agent, Nakobe Dean, Bobby Wagner, Levante David, Alex Anzalone, Kenneth Murray, Alex Singleton, who had a fantastic year with Denver, Matt Milano, and then you got Eric Wilson. So it's I agree with Trevor. Like it'll be tough, but even like EJ Speed from Houston, he had a really good year this year with a bunch of sacks for Houston and that amazing defense down there. But like there's a lot of great names here, a lot of them, and so you might have a better chance than we think at getting him, just because we saw firsthand. We saw firsthand how great he was for us this year. Obviously, every NFL team also saw that, but right now he's projected $4.3 million. I'm actually shocked that guys like Alex Singleton, who is a huge part of Denver, I guess Singleton is almost 33 years old.
I had no idea that Devin Lloyd was going to be worth that $20 million, or roughly.
Yeah. I mean, he is 27, right in his prime too. Yeah. Demario Davis at 37 years old. That's kind of crazy. Wow, but he's still playing really well.
On the Saints, right? His entire career.
I think so. Yeah, but he's even going up. Look at his previous AAV, $8 million. He's projected $9 million this offseason. 37, he's still building it up.
Yeah, it's considered the name of the game of the cap going up, is everyone will constantly keep being overpaid. That's the thing, is like when you play an old Madden game and you see what quarterbacks used to get paid, like if you hop on your gaming console and you just hop into Madden, what you would sign a quarterback to like now versus like quarterbacks will get. Well, there's not really a top quarterback, but what current quarterbacks on the current teams are getting, it's mind-boggling.
Yes.
How high it's getting. We're almost at 60 million, or have we already hit that? We may have.
We've hit it.
Quarterbacks.
I
love it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it'll keep going up too. But either way, like, I'm actually kind of confident the Vikings can retain Eric Wilson. I know Trevor's not been a huge stan or like huge optimist about it, but
I hope I'm wrong, but I guess
I know you hope
after
so,
seeing,
but yeah.
right.
Hmm.
I guess seeing the list, Flores is here. I wonder too. Maybe there's a better chance than I've been thinking after seeing the depth here of available options. Assuming majority of these
Yeah.
do test the market and don't get re-signed. So I think like Devin Lloyd, I gotta believe Jacksonville takes or keeps him, but then Demario Davis,
You'd
he's
have to
gone.
imagine. Yeah.
Saints are rebuilding. If he's not
Yep.
retiring, unless he wants to stay loyal, but I'm sure he'll go elsewhere, and then you just kind of go down the list.
Yep.
Most of these guys should at least make it into free agency, because why would you not see what you're
And the
worth?
reason I'm more confident is Eric Wilson is going to be like 32 at the beginning of next season. And like
Yeah.
you have a ton of guys above him, like projected more money that are younger. I don't really know who this Leo Chanel dude is from
Oh,
the Chiefs. I haven't.
he plays on the Chiefs.
Okay, cool. Like, I mean, Kenneth Murray's been a big name. Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker, Devin Bush. There's just a bunch of younger guys there. And there's a few more down the list too. Like, I mean, Logan Wilson's down here, had his year in
He was
Dallas.
traded.
Yeah. Either way, big list there. I'm also people. We're gonna have a video up in the next week, of someone at every free agent position that the Vikings can target. One or two players from every position that they could target. Now that the cap did go up, the 22 million Vikings can shave off as more money and create more money for free agency as they can. So, but if you guys want to see us do that, blueprint episode number 5 we just did last week. That one's out. That was a fun one. Either way, before I keep talking too much, we're gonna get to our predictions for the games tonight. We got 2 games
This afternoon.
this afternoon.
Yes.
First one is the
Oh, the
Wolves.
throwback logo.
Yeah, you like that? Actually, we're gonna do this first. I completely forgot. We got to go over predictions we made. We didn't get to make predictions from the Utah Mammoth game, which thank God we didn't. The Wild got
Thankfully, I was
obliterated.
working during that game.
Yeah, Wild got manhandled that game, but it was a tough situation. Back-to-back days with
Right
2
after
tough
the break.
opponents. But yeah, right after the break too. Either way, we made predictions on the Avs game. Trevor and Jack both said the Wild would lose. The Wild ended
You're
up beating the
welcome.
Avs
We
5
really
to
gave that
2.
anti-jinx in such a crucial game.
And the anti-jinx is wrong because I said they would win. So I get the point there. I get the win there. I also said the Olympians in this game would combine for 4+ combined points. Matt Boldy did it by himself with his 2 empty netters. So he had 4 points alone. Jack, rough night. He said McKinnon would score a goal. Wrong. He had 2 assists in the game, which now we go to Trevor. He said McKinnon and Kirill would combine for 3+ points. They combined for 4. I think Kirill, did he have a goal? I think they both had 2 assists, I thought.
Yeah, I don't think Kirill scored.
Okay, so Trevor gets a point in the point category. He's now tied with Jack. I am pretty far out and ahead because I got
tying with Jack means like a 10-point lead because that dude's a bozo and he don't know what he's talking about.
Either way, I'm pretty far up there. I just made a basketball score prediction like a week ago, people. So you can go back to that. That boosted me up there. First time we've ever gotten a score prediction in basketball. So hey, that's the thing though. If you guys were to nail if you were to nail the Wolves game tonight, you're up there competing. Either way, we'll get to our stuff tonight. Wolves at Nuggets actually just started probably 5 minutes ago, and Wild versus the Blues. First game back at Grand Casino Arena. Here we go. Let's just get right to it. Any injury updates? I know you looked at that before. For the Wolves game.
So for kind of covering the 4 teams, Wolves, to my knowledge, is all healthy. Randall was questionable with the back. It sounds like he's playing. For the Nuggets, what was it? Peyton Watson, Aaron Gordon, I think Cam Johnson was probable, so he should be playing. But I think Watson and Aaron Gordon are out. They might be out one or two other guys, but I didn't recognize the names. So the important ones being Aaron Gordon for sure, and then Watson as well. Wild are all healthy, and then Parayko's out, the big defenseman for the Blues. So all in all,
that's a big one.
Aren't really a concern.
Mm-hmm.
Denver, you can argue a little bit. No, Aaron Gordon or Watson. Those are guys that.
But they've been out for a while, right?
Right, yeah. It's not like a recent injury. They've been out.
The Nuggets have been playing without him for a little bit.
Yeah.
But and Nuggets are actually coming off that overtime loss to OKC, right? That was a good game.
I saw notifications for that, but I don't really know exactly what happened. I saw Jokic got upset at Lou Dort, right? Because it sounds like Lou Dort once again being a dirty player.
Lou Dort has taken it a notch up this year.
See, what I'll do is after this podcast, because I meant to look at it as we were talking about it. I gotta look it up. I don't know what happened. All I know is Jokic was.
They got.
If you're gonna upset Jokic,
you better
must
run.
have done something really stupid.
And you better run because the dude's gonna sit on you and
he'll just send all 18 horses he's got or however many he owns and we're like charge after that dude and run him over like Derrick Henry. Anyways, for predictions, I got the Wolves losing, unfortunately, 126-122. So Nuggets win 126-122. And then my prediction. I'm sure I'm going to snipe you here. Jokic triple a double.
See, I thought about it.
Good. No soup for you.
Yeah. Oh, I just put that under my name. Shoot. We'll copy and paste that. We will copy and paste it. Wolves.
Why didn't you just cut it?
What?
Control X. You could, the control cut, Control X.
Honestly, I don't know what you're talking about.
If you do that same process, but then it deletes it, and then you can still paste it.
Oh, cool.
So copy and cut. Anyway,
the more you learn.
Yeah.
All right. Anthony Edwards has been on a literal tear coming out of the All-Star break here. Last 4 games, 28 or more points. He is a Nugget killer. And I think the Wolves on a little bit of extended rest here. I think the Wolves will take the win today. I think it's going to be a fun game.
After that horrific performance, you didn't watch that game against the Clippers, did you?
I mean, we won, but it was a bad game. It was a horrible, sloppy. Yeah.
I don't remember. You didn't watch that game, right? Did you even watch highlights or anything? Well, it wouldn't show on the highlights.
No, I watched a few of the quarters. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, though.
I don't remember a time when I've seen a college or NBA team, so like talking Gophers or any Wolves games. I can't remember a time when so many shots were just like someone airballed a mid-range. I think it was Randall. I forget.
Probably.
But Conley, now that game was so bad that, and I don't blame Finch, but considering you have Io DeSumo and you've got Bones Highland, who's been playing kind of regular minutes. His minutes vary, but he's been at least getting playing time on a game-to-game basis.
Yes.
But the fact that the team looked so pathetic on offense that he had to try resorting to Conley, and this is no knock on Conley or anything. It's just everyone was
but he should not be getting time. That's just the point.
No. He only played like 3 minutes, so that wasn't a problem.
Oh,
Finch was so desperate that Conley played like a couple minutes because you could tell Finch was looking for a spark, a guy that can wake the offense up. That was the worst offensive game that I could have watched for a Minnesota basketball game, like I said, for Gophers or like Wolves.
Wow, you're going over the Gophers basketball for.
Well, I mean, just in general, like because so many of the misses were air balls. Like I said, an airball mid-range, which I don't remember that ever happening. And even Edwards, I believe it was Edwards, maybe not. Point being, some of the threes we shot were just like, it wasn't even like close. Like it had no shot of going in. It was hard watching that game. The Clippers, I think, scored 11 points in the second quarter. And that in itself, with how depleted the Clippers are post-trade deadline, scoring 11 points in the second quarter. That's a game where you should have like absolutely blown them out. That should have at least been a 25, 30 plus win, and you barely won. 100%. Yeah, at least got the win, but it's just frustrating to watch. Anyways, keep going with your prediction.
Yeah, I got it down here. Ant 30 plus points, Jokic 17 plus rebounds. All right. Another thing here, both teams, I didn't realize this going into this game, 37 and 23. Whoever wins this takes sole position of the fourth spot, I think, in the West, right? I think they would.
And honestly, for seedings, I'm not even paying attention because it's crazy between that 3 to what is it, 7 or 8. So
the Spurs have been on a tear too. So the Spurs are distancing.
They got absolutely, but that's one game.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's one.
Well, that's the game. So our game's ABC. The game that just ended, the Knicks apparently blew them out. But that's
today.
One game. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like, literally
I would have known that. I was preparing the episode. But, look at that. So we have the same record as the Rockets too. So if we win today, we jump to third place in the West. So,
but then I could also turn right. So hypothetically, you win today, you lose your next game, and then boom, 6. So that's why I'm not. That's why I'm not like I'm looking at it, of course, but I'm like,
that's crazy.
It can vary so much, so it's really hard to All right, and then for my wild prediction, I'm gonna have us winning 4-1, a good bounce back. I mean, we've discussed this numerous times. Almost every game now is a must win.
Yeah.
Just if you want any shot at Colorado, which it's
especially this game, because this is one of the 5 or 6 teams that you play the rest of the season with a losing record. Yeah, bad team here.
Yeah. So I got us winning 4-1, and then the Robert Thomas, who is a potential trade candidate for the Wild. I don't think we have enough to acquire him and in division trade and all that stuff. It'd be tough, but I do think he'll be a little extra motivated to put on a good performance. So have him at least getting 1 point later today.
1 point.
I was gonna say, I mean, he's not like a superstar player or anything. He's a very quality. I'll go over his point totals because I have it up here.
2-1-0-1-0-0-0-2-0. All right, fine. 1 point's fine. All right. Awesome. Yeah, for people that don't know, we try like making these predictions. We have to kind of like, it's an unsaid kind of agreeance thing that it has to be like under a 50% chance of happening. So he's had 0 point games, 5 of them in his last 10 games. So I will allow this 1 point prediction. All right, Robert Thomas, 1 point. Wild. All right, the Blues, like Trevor said, not very bad in the injury department. Parayko is the only big one out. The Blues are also coming. They had a game yesterday. So, and we just saw the Wild play horribly in back-to-back days after a month-long break for the Olympics. I also got the Wild winning today. I'm going to say 5-1. I really think the Wild will
bring
it and take it to them, take it to the Blues a little bit here. Unless Binnington just has...
Unless Binnington wants to have another goalie fight against, I guess Gus should be back. Right?
You know what I just saw for your prediction is Robert Thomas just got activated from the injured reserve for today's game, so he hasn't played in a while.
Wait, actually?
Okay. Yeah. Per NHL media site, removed from IR. First game back for Robert Thomas.
Huh. I knew that. Totally.
Yeah, I had that in my mind. Right. All right. As for my player prediction, actually, you know what? Here, I want to.
Oh yeah, look at that. He hasn't played since January 10th.
Okay, I did not realize the Blues were splitting their goalie matchup this evenly. Binnington has 33 games played, and Joel Hofer. Is it Hofer or Hofer? Hofer?
I don't know.
Yeah, but he's played 31 games.
We'll be like school. Joel H.
Yeah, Joel H. Either way, he's having a way better year than Binnington. He has 4 shutouts, 2.87 goals against. Binnington is 3.6 goals against. Save percentage for Binnington is 867, and Hofer's 8.897. So I don't know who's going to be starting tonight. Actually, I really don't know. But either way, Wild win 5-1. Player prediction.
So I will say Bennington did play Saturday in their last two New Jersey, so it's looking like
Okay.
Joel H.
will be playing.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Yeah. All right. Player prediction. I can't. I'm not gonna lie. You thought you would steal the Jokic one, but I was not gonna go with Robert Thomas, but I was gonna go with Kairu. I want to go with Wild now that you
Do
did
it.
the blue one, but
Or just do a combo. Do like Kyrie, Middleton, Bogosian.
No.
All combines for
2 Wild defensemen will score tonight.
That's in goals, right? You're not talking points.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Wild defensemen score goal.
Goals. Sweet.
Yep. All right.
Shout out to Bogosian too for absolutely killing in the Colorado game.
Yeah.
2 dudes on that one shift.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember who got wiped out, but man, see, like, are we at that point where we're just looking like David Jiricek was not going to be worth that return that we gave up? Because it's not looking like
we'll have to talk about that more because that one sucks.
Or yeah, we'll save that for a topic.
That one really sucks. Yeah, that might be a whole episode type thing.
Yeah, we'll save that one. Jack too.
That one sucks. That one stinks. There's our records currently on the left side, but there's our predictions for today. Both got the Wild winning. Trevor has the Wolves losing. But either way, there is your JJ McCarthy talk. There's your Vikings extensive talk here. Pretty soon, like I said, we're going to be packed. Twins spring training in full force here. Mick Abel, Emmanuel Rodriguez off to hot starts. The Wild back in action. The Wolves, both of them in a playoff push. The Vikings, the Combine, we'll have a video out about that. But yeah, the Wild trade deadline, that's a big one here. And then people, I'll say right now, keep your notifications on for March 9th. We have a big announcement that day. So March 9th. I keep saying Narch. March 9th.
Come on. Let's go now.
Yeah, keep that in your calendar. But for today, everyone go follow the YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Spotify. Twin Cities Sports Talk. We'll see you tomorrow, people. Thanks.